Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. Your host, as always, here on a Monday, your boy Clint. How is everybody doing? Happy Thanksgiving early. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there stateside. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are coming off of UFC Qatar. And yes, some of you in the chat may be questioning what is missing. I'm not in the baby blues today. It's a little chilly. We did bank a win at UFC Qatar, and the baby blue shirt is over there. I'm going to wear it next week because there's no card to talk about this week, you guys. As always, I do my best to bring you guys content. Make sure you've got something to sink your teeth into every week, even if it's not the longest show, even if it's not, something where we've got a massive topic to talk about. Make sure you got a little bit of something to get you through your week. So no UFC fights this week, but always a Die Hard MMA podcast. So we're coming off of a little win. Today's plan, we will do a little recap of UFC Qatar, just hang out, chill with the chat. And you know what? Usually the comments are on for the Friday show. Today we're doing a recap show. Comments are on for today too. So if you guys are enjoying it, jump up in here. You can see yourselves pop up here on the screen. Even if I don't highlight your comment, you guys can be part of the show today. Hope everybody did well. Hope everybody crushed it. And I'm stacking. What I'm doing, you guys, is I'm building a wall. Right? This is back-to-back wins, and we're just brick by brick in this thing. Quarter unit won last week, 0.8 units won this week. It doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile, a win is a win, and I'd rather be winning than losing. So very, very happy to have be in the plus after UFC Qatar this week. And you know what? A bit of a bummer because, as is classic with my case, I actually could have just full rapid fired this card, you guys. I did really well prediction wise at UFC Qatar. There was a lot of spots that I could have just shipped it and been all over it. So, we'll see. We'll go back through this thing and talk about it. My guy Dream in the chat, as always, first to the mic. What is up? Grateful dude. Appreciate you, buddy. Definitely something to be thankful for. Going into the break, it's always nice. That walk of shame. I got to tell you guys, the biggest walk of shame of all time is the drive home from Vegas. Now, you guys know I live in Arizona, so Vegas is just a pebble's throw, a hop, skip, and a jump away from where I'm at. Actually, when my current wife and I were dating, we used to go to Vegas all the time. It was like, hey, what you doing this weekend? Nothing. Let's jump in the car. And we would just take off and go spend a night in Vegas. It was that easy back when it was a affordable, different conversation. But it was a whole hell of a lot of fun to just ship off down the street and go gamble in Vegas for a weekend and bet on some football. And then we would drive home Sunday night as the sun was going down. I would wake up first thing Monday morning, blurry-eyed, still a little hungover, and just get my ass into the office. It was a good freaking times. What was my point? I started telling the story and I don't have any idea what my point behind it was. You are absolutely getting off week Clint this week, you guys. I can't for the life of me remember why I was telling you guys about Vegas being so close by. It was fun though. It was fun. I mean, there's a reason I married her, right? We used to go to Vegas every single weekend and gambling on football and gambling on fights and playing craps and stuff like that. And I don't know. Action Jackson, I have no idea. I have no clue what my point was. What was I saying before I was talking about Vegas being very close to my house? Because I don't, fuck me. I don't know. Barry Long in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Garrett, I am sorry to hear that your picks were terrible, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. If you profited, profit is profit, baby. What's going on? So, Action, what was this comment about? Very sad. It's coming to an end. What's coming to an end? What is coming to an end? What's the end of the era? I'm not sure. We've only got 1 week off until the UFC is back, buddy. It's not over. It's not rest in peace time. We're good. We're all right. Oh my lord. So anyway, I had a fun story for you guys. I'm sure I was building to something, but you're gonna have to. I can't even like tease that I'm gonna circle back around to it later. You know what's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen? I am going to scare the ever living piss out of my wife because at like 1 a.m. I will have it like click and I'm gonna like sit up in bed and be like, like I was talking about that. I'm gonna know exactly what I was referring to in like 6 hours when it no longer matters and the show is over. It's just gonna be gone forever. But man, so I'm pretty grateful, pretty excited, coming off of a little bitty win. But I will keep on hopefully stacking those little bitty wins. I made a joke about it on social media, guys. I was like, if I keep stacking these like under 1 unit wins, I'll be out of the hole I've created for myself by 2036. So give me some time. We'll just keep clawing at it, and eventually we'll get there. Man, let's kind of run back over Qatar. If you guys have any questions or thoughts or anything, obviously jump in the chat. Let me know what you guys want to see and talk about. This is your show as much as it is mine. Salt Dirt, welcome to the show. Thank you for hanging out today. First and foremost, you guys got to shout out the sponsor. Of course, please check out cloudbet.com. If you haven't, please get signed up. Cloudbet.com, some of the best props in the game and up to $2,500 welcome bonus when you get signed up. I also love these the little graphics here where they show the fighter stats and stuff like that. I know we use Tapology and stuff like that, but it's kind of cool to have it built right into the mainframe there of the gambling. Let's see here. The biggest walk of shame. Yes, I was just trying to say the biggest walk of shame of all time is the trip home from Vegas. Like I don't know how you guys do it. That after like thank you, Garrett. You're a man of the people right now, saving myself here. So I don't know how you guys do it. Where you like fly in for a weekend or something like that? Because damn, driving home. And that's what got me on the driving, right? As I would hit my wife up, we were a girlfriend at the time. We would jump in the car, we drive off. I come home and like I'm just trying to like get myself to the bed, basically. Wake up, go to work. But that 6-hour car ride, where you're like, oh, like I just blew $2,000, and we were out gambling. We woke up and watched Vikings football, and we lost another $50 on Sunday morning before we have to drive home. We were hanging out and doing so much. I didn't even get laid. Like, what's the fucking point? We're like, that 6-hour car ride home where everyone just goes silent, where it's like there's nothing to say. The drive to Vegas is all hype. It's all energy. People in the back seat are sneaking shots, right? The driver cannot sneak shots. Drive safely, people. The driver can't do anything, but everyone's having a good time and stuff like that. But then the drive home, you're just like cracked out, dry eyes, just like staring at the road. Nobody's got a damn thing to say or talk about. That is the longest 6-hour drive you will ever have in your entire life. So you guys that do like travel longer distances and stuff to get to and from Vegas, it's probably safer. It's probably protection for you guys, because those of us that can just hop in the car and be like, no big deal. 5-6 hours in the car, hit the gas. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough when you're on the way home after a bad weekend. So we got there. Get to the chopper. What's up, boys? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you tuning into the show. Top funny. Oh, Oral by KO. Man, I'm glad you jumped in on that, because I did not have the cojones. That was one where I could see that fight playing out two ways in my head just so clearly. I'm like, the weight cut could really be a problem for Jack. Jack's already a little bit chinny. He's coming off a bad knockout. This could be the age cliff. Like, I could see my guy Oral like really standing out here. But then with him being the smaller guy, moving up to 170 after fighting at 155, struggling so far a little bit in his UFC start, not really sure if he's going to cut it, taking on a much larger human. I was like, oh, like I could see Jack just like pulling the full Chris Curtis on him. So I got a little frozen there. They call that analysis or paralysis by over analysis is what I got on that one. So I'm glad you locked in on that one. That KO was beautiful and good for me to know that my faith wasn't misplaced. That Mikbek Orlbai is absolutely the man. He's the dude. We'll see if he goes, down to 155 or if he stays up at 170 from now on. That's going to be a fun thing to figure out here. Jeff says that's like the drive home from music festival plus the feeling of losing a bunch of money. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're just completely burnt. Like you've got nothing left to give except your pockets are empty. You're coming home from Vegas. It is the worst. It is absolutely the worst. Oh man, hoping he keeps running hot because you'll fade him in the future. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's pretty young. I mean, I know he's first generation upright caveman, right? Like he looks like he's old, but he's pretty young. You might not get much of an opportunity to fade him. He might be destined for the top 10, man. We'll see. We'll see. Looking forward to it. Any chance we'll see a Magomed Pork fight soon? Yeah, I'm sure John Pork is going to get signed up. I'm sure John Pork is going to get signed up. Absolutely. And hey, top funny clips. I appreciate that. People dog on you a lot, but your reads are very good sometimes. Horiguchi too. Love the show. Thanks for the free entertainment. And that's what it's all about, top funny clips. I really appreciate it. I've always tried to be very open and honest and clear with people. I am a bad gambler, right? I call myself a degenerate for a reason. I am not a good gambler. So if you're looking for somebody who's basically half computer, right? If you're looking for your Mark Zuckerberg who's just going to plug the numbers in and spit out the best bet possible, there are other people who are far more successful than me for that. And most of them charge money. I'm a gambler who likes to talk about my favorite sport, and I like to bet on mixed martial arts. That's what I do. That's why I started the show. The last 2 years have been just a train crash, just horrific, my gambling results. But believe it or not, before the last 2 years, I was profitable. It wasn't by a lot. I'm not paying my mortgage with gambling or anything, but I was a profitable bettor for the first 4 or 5 years of the podcast that I was doing it. So, thank you for addressing that. Thank you for realizing and acknowledging that. But that's why I always say I'm not charging anybody any money. The show is pure entertainment. I like MMA. I want to talk about MMA. I want to bet on MMA. So I will have these down swings. I will have these bad runs where things don't go my way and where I look like a freaking moron. But at the end of the day, the whole point is we're supposed to be having fun. So hopefully more people can jump on board with that realization like you so that we can kind of grow things here on my own personal channel. Because, man, I got to tell you guys, I know several of you here in the chat have been with me for like a long time. So you guys know. But back when I first got started, apparently we're doing story time today instead of recapping Qatar. Back when I first got started, I barely got the ball rolling and I got picked up. So I started doing the podcast initially audio only as like therapy because I was calling things like I was like play by playing the fight just with the family hanging out to watch the fights. And I beat Joe Rogan to calling what somebody was like searching for. And he then jumped on the microphone and said almost verbatim what I said. And everyone kind of turned and looked at me like, holy shit. Like, so Clint isn't just like talking out his ass here. He actually knows what he's talking about. And it was a moment where the people closest to me in my life had kind of a light bulb go off that they were like, oh, he is not full of shit. Very satisfying for yours truly. But then after that, my wife and her little sister, especially, they like really, really pushed me to start a podcast, saying I could be successful at it, that kind of thing. And it was therapy. I never had delusions of grandeur, dreams of blowing up or anything like that. But it was therapy for me to come on, sit in front of a computer. I wasn't live streaming yet. We had no video capabilities back then. I just had a microphone, much crappier than this one, by the way. And I would just talk into the screen and then upload these little clips. And the podcast used to be like 20, 30 minutes long. Because since I was just talking to myself, I would talk through the whole thing. I would give my bets at the end. And same thing as I'm doing now. Like I would just kind of keep track and let people know how I was doing. Back then I couldn't, the only place I could bet was Bovada because like Arizona hadn't even legalized sports betting or anything like that yet. And it kind of got noticed almost right away. Like I had very few viewers initially, obviously, like all podcasts do. But then I got hooked up with SBR was the company at the time. My boy Jimmy the Bag from he's still over at Pub Sports Radio. I actually helped connect him with Pub Sports and got him that gig where he's still over there doing live streams every single day. He noticed me very similarly, kind of where like I put a couple things together and he noticed that I was actually kind of hitting some stuff in the chat. And so he invited me to come on and do a show with him on the streams that he was doing. They would hit me up on Fridays right before the Saturday fights and ask me to talk through, just 3 or 4 of the like high profile fights and stuff like that. And I had a good enough track record that they then connected me to like writing articles and like being sponsored. And I ended up leaving my YouTube channel to go to their YouTube channel. And SBR went under. Odds.com came along, and this was right before the pandemic hit. And when I got signed up with Odds, UFC was the only thing going, right? Like all the other sports went down. So it was kind of just like the perfect lucky thing for me to be with Odds right when MMA blew up. And it was the only thing anybody could talk about. And at that point, I was just right place, right time. The channel blew up. It got huge. We were getting over 10K views per show. Like it was crazy. And that was the kind of thing where I was like, oh my God, like I never thought it was going to get anywhere near that level. And since then, I've always been on a host channel. I've always been on somebody else's YouTube channel. I've never built anything for myself. So for 6 years of podcasting, I was always on somebody else's channel because every time one of these entities that I was working for closed their doors, somebody else was like, hey, Clint, come over here. And so I always just jumped to the next sponsor. So I finally hit the point where I was like, man, I've been doing this long enough. Obviously, I've got this cult following. Now there's a lot of you. Not as many as there used to be back in the odds.com days, obviously, but I've got a very good core following with you guys. And I was like, I'm gonna stop making these people chase me around at different platforms. And it's time I built something on my own that if I ever were to, for whatever reason, strike gold and blow up and stuff, I want it to be mine. I don't want it to be somebody else's. I don't want it to be owned by another company or another entity. When I was with Home of Fight, actually part of the fracture there, part of the reason that fell apart the way that it did is they wanted me to give up the diehard ownership. Like they wanted a piece of, I shouldn't get into all of that, but at any rate, so that's part of why I'm doing it on my own now. And I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Like, obviously, we're still grinding over here. The numbers are low. We're not up at 5K yet, but we broke that 4K barrier, which is good. Thank you guys very much for the support, getting me that far at least. We got a long way to go, but it's interesting because MMA might not be growing the way that it was when we boomed in the first place, but it's growing enough, and there's enough people who love it, and there's enough people that talk about it. And I still, you guys, once every other week or so, I get somebody who follows me and goes, I've been looking for you for 3 years. Like it's the internet, it's just the internet. People can't find the stuff and that's why, jumping from channel to channel, like I did, I'm sure I left a lot of people in the dust who enjoyed my content that have never been able to locate me ever again. So we're staying here. And the shout out to CloudBet for sponsoring the podcast. Anyone that wants to sponsor is sponsoring me right here. I'm not leaving the YouTube channel anymore. Anyway, you guys got me monologuing. You caught me monologuing. Dream saying laid the hammer on Jalen at -225. For some reason, Jalen Hurts, the football player, is the only name that is coming to mind for me right now. Dream, is that like Jalen Turner's upcoming comeback fight, or am I not thinking of a Jalen that fought this past weekend? Because my brain is not recognizing that. No? Yeah, which Jalen? You got to let me know. Which Jalen? TH! What's up, buddy? Thank you very much for being here. Let's see here. Getting caught up on the chat. Yeah, man, that was an old callback. The De Lima versus Big Ben Rothwell, back when we would refer to Ben as being my father, right? Yep. I see, that's the thing, man. You go back and you go through my run. There have been some insane calls that have been really fucking good. And then there have also been some insane calls that were, terrible. And that's top. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of take what you can get at this point. Unfortunately, it's a lot slimmer pickings than it used to be when it comes to that kind of thing. So, working on it. We'll see what happens next. We'll see what happens next. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. It's different when you run the show yourself. When you've got people who are doing the graphics, when you got people who are doing the editing, when you got people who are, hooking up the sponsors and doing this, that, and the other. You just don't have to think about that kind of thing. So now that I'm doing it all on my own, it's like, okay, well, so now I've got to make some decisions and I got to figure out how to do things that I didn't know how to do previously. There's a learning curve. And there's also just if I make a wrong decision for you guys, keeping my fan base in mind, obviously, if I make a wrong decision for you guys, then it reflects specifically on me, right? So I'm taking my time with the way I'm making decisions on these kinds of things. I'm probably going a little too slow, if we're being honest, but but I'm trying to be very thoughtful about it. I want to make sure I still continue to bring you guys the best show that I can. That's the plan, obviously. Salt saying that the run on Bilal was epic. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And I will tell you guys, I'm actually pretty proud of myself for avoiding this past week. Let's get into it, okay? Real quick. Let's recap UFC Qatar because that's what we're here for. I just want to talk through kind of what happened here. And yeah, then we can address the Bilal run, right? So the first fight of the night was Bulo and Freeman, which what a terrible heavyweight fight that was. So shout out Uncle Weezy. He got a good number on Freeman. He was the guest on last week's show. He told us all, Weezy, big time call with this one. He said that Freeman was good all the way up to like 3-1. And I was like, oh, damn. So I was going to just straight tail him because he was minus 150 at the time. By the time I got around to actually pulling the trigger, he was up and over minus 200. And just based on what I saw personally on the tape, and that's my thing, you guys, that I am not the best. And I've already told you guys this. I don't claim to be the best. I trust my eyes, though. So when I trusted my eyes that Freeman was not worth minus 200, Weezy said he's good to minus 300. I'm like, okay, I will blindly tail people and then just let you know. Look, I feel like Liam, right? Liam's the Zahabi whisperer. If there's an Ayman Zahabi play to be had and Liam says, yes, I bet it. And I shout him out every single time. I was going to tail Weezy because Freeman at minus 150, Weezy said so. Okay, sure, done. Let's roll those dice and see what happens. I wasn't about to go for Freeman minus 225 or higher. That wasn't going to be a thing that happened. I couldn't find myself locating any option for that to happen. He got his hand raised. It was kind of a greasy back and forth fight. Two guys that are both way too old to be prospects. Two guys that are way too bad to do much of anything in the UFC. I mean, I'm sure they'll both get a couple of fights, but I don't expect a whole lot from either of them. Yeah. One of the absolute worst fights I've ever seen. Northwest, like Patrick. Northwest, 11-3. Nice. Good calls. McMuffin, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you. Nathan saying, I'm excited to see your 2023 results and turn for 2026. Yeah, it's funny because that was always the thing, you guys, is I alternated wins and losses. Every single year since I started the podcast. First year was a winning year. Second year was a losing year. I came back with a bigger winning year. And literally, like, it's just expanded. Like, every single time I have won bigger and lost bigger and won bigger and lost bigger. So I've always ended up positive because the wins would outweigh those losses. Now, the last 2 years in a row, back to back, they've been record-setting awful years. Record-setting, back-to-back, terrible years. But 2023 was my biggest winning year of all time yet ever. So if the pattern does hold, we are in for a 2 or 3 year crushing of me just hitting absolutely everything I want to think of. So hold on to your butts because 2026 and 2027 could be the ride of a lifetime. I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying. We will see. Narulo Aliyev and Shem Rock. I got to tell you guys. So I was going to bet Aliyev by decision straight up. That was one of the things I called last week, and I said I was going to do it. It was minus 125, minus 105, actually, if you had cloudbet.com. And I didn't pull the trigger on it. I put it in the turkey hair transplant parlay. It was the first leg. I thought, you know what? That's a good way for me to get some exposure to it. It should be a layup, but in case Shamrock is, who people want him to be, like maybe he actually upsets Aliyev, it actually almost ended up being quite the opposite. Somebody got in Aliyev's ear and was like, bro, you're boring. Bro, your ass, like they're going to cut you if you just keep grinding people. So he went out there and struck. That dude went out there and was looking for a finish. Like, I am so happy. It's one of those ones where I would have cashed the ticket, right? We would have won the bet. But everything I thought about the fight was wrong because he didn't go out there looking for takedowns. He went out there looking to strike. And I think lesser men he might have gotten out of there because he landed some clean shots like all night. He showed he is not a one trick pony. He showed he's fully capable of striking. I don't know if we have to give props to Shim for being tough and durable, or if Aliev just has pillow fists and he's still going to be a decisionator striking or not. But he showed kind of a level of striking that I was not expecting. So feels good to be on the right side there. Feels good to be excited about a kid that obviously definitely has the high ceiling that I've been kind of saying he is capable of. But definitely got the cap wrong on that one, right? I was not in the camp. I did not know the game plan. Oh man, yeah. Shim might be ass. He might be ass. And Salt. That's why we can't fuck with Dalby. I told you guys, like it is so hard to know. Dalby is this enigma that sometimes he just shows the fuck up and you're like, what just happened? It's so insane. I don't know what to do with Dalby. I'm so glad I avoided that spot. Dream saying, what is your favorite bet that cashed this year? That is a great question. And especially on the Thanksgiving Day stream, right? Like we should definitely shout out the fighters that we are grateful for. The problem is I have far more losses this year than I have wins. So it's kind of difficult for me to nail down a favorite win that I had this year because it's been so tough sledding. Let me think about that for a second. Cause we had like the failed anchors, and that got us off the whole anchoring thing. And I've had some really big like reverse sweeps. And so like one of the ones I can remember is like betting like Reiner de Ritter as an underdog against Robert Whitaker, but that was like a greasy split decision that easily could have gone the other way. And it turns out he might be kind of a fraud. So like, in hindsight, that one doesn't feel all that good. Um, it's been a tough year for me. What is my favorite? I'm looking back right now. Oh, guys. So I really think to this point right now, it's probably Ramiz Brahimaj. UFC 320. Ramiz Brahimaj. Telling everybody that he was the side, not that he was just like a one-trick pony and that he's actually improved and training with Bilal has turned him into a real fighter. Big plus money. I think that one's probably my favorite right now. You guys know I love my greasy, mangy dogs that nobody likes, right? When everybody in the world tells me I'm crazy and then my underdog hits, that's my favorite. That's what gets me up in the morning. It factor, I'm glad somebody got in. I'm glad somebody got in on Dolby. That's what's up. Let's see here. Hey, what's going on, La Roche? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, Todd, that was, man, the round 3 sprinkles. That's something I got to tell you that keeps me up at night because I used to be able to call these round 3 sprinkles. And it's crazy because the fighters that now when I'm calling for the round 3, I'm like underestimating my own boys. They're getting it done in round 2. They're getting done in round 1. And I'm like, shit, like my whole concept is like they're going to beat this guy up and drag him into deep waters and get the finish, and they end up finishing way earlier than I expected. And even like this past weekend, I called for the round 3 upset with Bexat. I played two sides, right? I played Bexat and I played Kyoji. I did the round 3 on Bexat, but I didn't do it on Kyoji. And of course, Kyoji's the one that hits, and that would have been even bigger. So like the one I played is the one that missed. It's rough, man. Tough sledding for me right now. So that's why I'm really getting back to simplifying. So far, that's working. Hopefully, we can keep that up. So for the next fight, it was Ismail Nardiev and Ryan Loder. And damn, dude, I was struggling with this one all week. I said it was dog or pass. I'm glad I didn't go in on the money line because I really wanted to fade Ismail Nardiev. Loder spent this camp at like Tiger Muay Thai. I was expecting some improvements. He's more physical. He's got a better gas tank. Nardiev flatlined him. Absolutely flatlined him. I actually kind of love that result because I still think Ismail Nardiev is a fraud. So I think that'll probably help us get some better value in fading him in the next fight. And then my big bet for the day, Bexat Alcomon taking on Alexandre Topuria, if my tongue will work. This one I need to go back and watch. So my best friend actually got into a car accident, and I was driving him to go pick his stuff up out of his car this past weekend. So I was only listening to this fight. I didn't get a chance to actually watch this one. So I need to go back and rewatch what happened here. But from what I understand, Topuria's wrestling really just kind of made the difference. He was able to track him down, land the bigger shots, drag him to the mat when needed to. Sounds like it was a full performance from Topuria, but I can't really comment on it. I'll have to wait and see. I was hoping for more from Bexat. I need to be a little bit careful, I guess, because Bexat is the guy that I was really hyped on. And there was another Kazakhstan guy that I was like really hyped on. The dude that got cut, he just lost the split decision to fuck. What's his name? Whatever. Doesn't matter. And Top, thank you very much for asking about the friend. He's good. He's good, actually. If you looked at the photos, you would not think he was good. His car got absolutely destroyed. I'm just happy the other guy had insurance, because that was my biggest thing. Is he's struggling a little bit financially and does like Uber to like fill in the cracks financially and stuff like that. And without a car, he's basically up shit creek. So I'm very, very happy that he's okay. So thank you for that. Azat, thank you, Salt Dirt. Yeah, see, I knew it was another Zat, right? Like I was trying to remember the name, but Bexat's the only one that kept coming to mind. Azat is the other guy, very similar to Bexat, that I was just so certain was going to be good. I was just so certain was going to be legit, and we were going to bank off of him getting wins. And he went 0-3 and got cut from the UFC. I mean, so like I'm watching Bexat. He's on fraud alert right now. I'm like, is he really what I thought he was? We're going to be a little bit careful. Yakiev came in and got the thing done against Rafael Sequeira in round 1. We knew that was happening. 33 seconds. My God, this kid looks good. And that's one that, in hindsight, again, we talk about the low-hanging fruit sometimes. Minus 160. Should have pulled the trigger. Minus 160, should have pulled the trigger. Would have been right there, easy peasy. Now, this is where my hands-off approach is working for me right now, you guys. The next couple of fights, because Alex Perez and Asu Almabayev, I said that this was a sleeper Perez spot. I was like, if I knew his knee was fully healthy, I would be betting Perez in this spot, because I don't think Almabayev is going to be able to out wrestle him. I don't think Asu Almabayev is going to be able to get to his back, and that's the only way you're choking this guy out. Now, Perez has some submission defense issues, but only when you get into the grappling, and he's not going to be looking to grapple Asu Almabayev, so that neck will be perfectly safe here. Oh, Perez beat up Almabayev for 2 straight rounds. Anybody who had an Alex Perez ticket in their pocket was feeling like they were just McGregor strutting it, right? Like it's hard to do when you're sitting down. Apparently, you look like an idiot. They were feeling good because he was minus 500 on the live line. I mean, it was Perez one-way traffic, and then Asu cranked it up, jumped the gilly, and boy, can that kid squeeze. Asu Almabayev gets the 3rd round submission, and I just bullet dodged, you guys. Like, I was only ever going to be betting Perez in that one. Asu bails everybody out. The parlay boys get to high five with each other because he gets the win. Beautiful comeback win for the kid. I'm a big fan of Asu Almabayev. I like him a lot. So it was cool to see him dig deep and get that victory there in that spot. I feel a little bad for Alex Perez because he looked phenomenal up until that point. Jay Ellis subs Perez. He does have really, really hard times with the submission defense. And that's always the point, though, right? I was like, he's not going to let Asu get to the grappling, so he'll never get choked out. It felt like it was super easy peasy for him to avoid that. And he made one mistake and got caught in a gilly. And then Dalby upsets Saeed in his UFC debut. Saeed. Tough sledding, man. Losing a split decision in Qatar. The Russian losing a split decision in Qatar. Oh, that's another fight that I didn't really get to watch. I only got to listen to it. So I saw the result. I heard the commentators, and I'll have to go back and check that one out. But you can't ever look past Dalby, guys. You just can never sleep on Nick Dalby. Dude is 41 years old in enemy territory and still just going out there and getting the damn thing done. I would say impressive. I didn't get to watch it, so I'll assume it was impressive. Yeah, Dolby Hugfest. I mean, he does what he's got to do though. He knows how to win fights. It's crazy. Luke Riley absolutely nuking Bogdan Grad. That was beautiful. I had Riley by decision in the Hail Mary, right? We were thinking he drags the fight deep. Maybe it's a round 3, that kind of thing. I'm sad I didn't just hammer Riley in this spot. I was leaning dog or pass early in the week, and then the face-offs, the light bulb came on, you guys. On the undefeated post-weigh-in show on Friday, the light bulb came on. I was like, this kid is fucking huge. Like, as soon as I saw the size difference, I was like, oh. Yeah, I didn't make any money off of it, but we were on the right side, calling the right guy there. And then Kyoji Horiguchi just handling Tagir Ulanbekov. That was therapy, you guys. That was therapeutic. You guys know Tagir Ulanbekov is my white whale, right? He's one of those fighters that I've had circled as a fade for a long time, and just nobody's been able to pull it out of him. Nobody's been able to put it on him the way that you need to get him to fade. Like, we know the cardio is sketchy. We know the heart is sketchy. We know he's in close, low volume fights. Like, it's been there for the taking for everybody. Azat was the one who I thought was going to get it done against him, and that was a close fight, and he fought well, not quite enough. Clayton Carpenter, same thing. Nate Maness, I thought he was going to be the guy. Like, it's crazy. Like, all these fighters that could have gotten him just have not been able to quite pull it off. Finally got him. The one thing, and gambler's hindsight, right? Gambler's hindsight. You always wish you would have bet more on the fights that you won. Obviously, I wish I had pulled out my retirement and put $1 million on it. You know what I mean? Like, not like that. I wish I had added one more unit on Kyoji Horiguchi, because what I did initially, when I was setting my card up, I was like, okay, I'm going to put 2 units on Bexat, and I'll put 2 units on Kyoji. So it's like, if I go 1-1 and Kyoji is the one that wins, it'll be a winning night because of the plus money. If I go 1-1 and Bexat is the one that wins, I'll have a winning night because I'll at least break even, right? Because it'll cover the loss on the Kyoji side. And then I was like, you know what though? I'm going to do my round 3 prop, and I'm going to do my turkey hair transplant parlay. So I need a little bit extra, right? I'm more confident that Bexat's going to win than I am in Kyoji winning. So I made it a 3-unit play on Bexat and a 2-unit play on Kyoji. Well, by the end of the week, the line had moved against me. And I saw you guys talking about it in the chat, the CLV curse in MMA, when everybody's on the right side or everybody's on the same side and the line moves that way, it just never works out. Especially the last year or two. It just never works out. So everybody parlaying up to Tagir Ulanbekov, everyone saying Kyoji's too small, he's a fraud, he's old, all this stuff. Man, I wish I had just had the cojones to go, no, I'm correct. And I will put one more unit on Kyoji at a much, much better number, because the line moved against me and it was a gift. I should have just taken more and said, yes, please, thank you. I will take the win. I'm very happy with the call. We did our boy Link from heaven good. We did him proud by getting another Link Memorial Dog of the Week home. So that felt good. Waldo Cortez Acosta, he is carrying 2025, and it's weird. If you guys have been listening to me for any length of time recently, you guys know Waldo was not my cup of tea, right? They were like way overhyping him. He's kind of a basic bitch striker, right? It's just meat and potatoes boxing. It's nothing fancy. I just was not really a huge fan of him. I felt like he was way overhyped. And it's insane what a pirate eye patch and winning 1 or 2 bets on a guy will do. Now I'm a Waldo fan. Like, all of a sudden I'm like, hey, like, I've changed my tune on the guy. And I'm like, instead of trying to like beat my head into a brick wall to try and fade the guy, we'll just buy into the fact that he's more athletic and better than a lot of these heavyweights. He's durable as fuck. He's got good cardio. Like, all right, maybe we should take a swing on him instead of against him. That's back-to-back calls on Waldo Cortez Acosta with him getting it done. And it's like, all right, I guess we're Waldo fans. This is officially a Waldo podcast. We will be supporting him from this point on. I wish I had made that bet bigger. I did a 1-unit play on him just because of the short notice. If it had been a normal fight, if he was booked against Shamil Gaziv in any other circumstance, and he had a regular camp, or even if the travel was lesser, it would have been my usual like 2.7 to win 2 units at a minus 135 line. I just went the 1.35 to win 1 because he had to cut 12 pounds on emergency notice and was on a plane 3 hours beforehand going halfway around the world, that I was like, even thinking he should win, that's still like a tall task, just physically speaking. No more questions. No more questions. We don't ask. Waldo is a beast. He is the man. And if you can pull that shit off, I mean, I know Gaziev is kind of fraudulent, but that was still impressive as all get out. So if you can pull that off on short notice, cutting weight and flying around the world, no more questions. We're in on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Absolutely. George, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining the show. Let's see. He says 12:08 a.m. in the UK. Just got off a flight a few hours ago. You're pulling a Waldo Cortez yourself, buddy. Thanks for tuning into the show. Winning by knockout over here. Thank you very much, George. Travel safe, buddy. Yeah, we already talked about oral bye. That round 1 KO was beautiful. My faith has been rewarded. Again, another spot where I immediately, when this fight was booked, I immediately thought parlay Mictebek oral bye. Like, this is the spot. Parlay Mictebek oral bye. And then it was all the questions about the size differences and him moving up and Jack moving down. And I just overthought that one. If I had gone with just my gut instinct, immediate button click, that one would have been good. Minifield and Ozdemir. I feel like that fight would have gotten hairy if it didn't get finished. Like, Ozdemir bum rushed Alonzo, and Alonzo looked like prime Anderson fucking Silva up against the cage with all that head movement. It was crazy. Like, the way he was ducking and dipping and rolling, like, I was like, man, Ozdemir's going to punch himself out, and Alonzo's going to crack him one right in the jaw. Like, if this doesn't get finished, and then Ozdemir like hit him with an uppercut, and that just kind of sealed the deal. Good performance from Ozdemir doing what he needed to do. I definitely think Alonzo is he's not a fraud. He's a freak show fighter, is what we always say, right? So he's not a fraud, but he's definitely a guy that doesn't belong with the contenders. Anytime he fights a true contender, not a retirement age fighter, not a middle of the road fighter, not a young brand new fighter, if he's fighting a contender, he just gets pasted. So yeah, that, you know, it was the right outcome. It just didn't go the way I really thought it was going to. Bilal and Ian Gary. I mean, it's a Bilal fight. What are you going to do? I was surprised at how much Bilal was striking. It's like he learned nothing from his last fight. You know, he was talking about winning the fight on the feet and stuff like that, and then he got robbed in what it was a close fight with JDM that maybe he could have won because he didn't go to the grappling. And then in this fight, it looked like the same thing happened. He gave away like the whole first round trying to strike with Ian Gary. Now, Ian Gary's footwork and movement and the takedown defense, that shit was all on point. That I can't take anything away from Ian Gary. When Bilal did try to shift up and go towards the grappling, it was definitely Ian Gary season. Now, Gary, it kind of sucks because he's a little boring. The finishing ability isn't there. He's very technical. He's very good. He's very solid defensively. It's going to be hard to deal with him. But the knockouts and stuff that you would want to see, they're just not going to happen. He's going to be in decision fights constantly. I thought that fight was 1-1 going into 3. I got some heat online because I thought Bilal plus 3.5 should have been a winner. I thought it was a 29-28 win. So a couple judges going 30-27 for Ian Gary, I thought was a little bit strange, but you know, at the end of the day, the right guy won. And I'm happy that I jumped off the Bilal train because I have been riding that plus money forever. And it just felt like bait, man. It really just felt like the spot where the UFC, if there was ever going to be like a collusion pre-filled out spot where they were like, no, we're not letting Bilal win this fight. Like, this is the one that felt like that. So I was like, man, even if it's close, Bilal's not getting his hand raised. I know he's the hometown guy. You would think he'd be the one getting his hand raised. And I talked about that in Qatar. It's not necessarily about who the home guy is. It's about who should win the fight, right? Who do they want to win the fight? That's who gets the rub. So yeah, man, I'm glad I avoided on that one. Ian Gary by decision was a good bet for anybody who plugged that one in. Is Shavkat still on the roster? Yeah, it was interesting because Shavkat was like there, wasn't he? He was like, I think he was cage side for this one. So he's still trying to stay relevant. It's tough with how long he's been out with, you know, his injury concerns and stuff like that. He's given Hamzat vibes right about now. He's just disappearing for years at a time, I guess. It'll be interesting to see how he comes back because he got, you know, a little bit exposed, right? Like it feels like he's got some work to do. So maybe that's what he's off doing right now. You never know. We'll see what he does when he comes back. He's still 19-0, but he was given some problems there. I wouldn't mind seeing him and Ian run it back. Let's see. I want to see Ian Gary and Shavkat not on short notice. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm sure those two will cross paths again at some point. They're the future of this weight class. So as these older guys, Usman, Bilal, as those guys all fade out, and once we get rid of the Dag that's got the belt right now, who only fights once a year, we'll get some of these guys taking on each other over the next couple of years. It'll be real fun. And then Saryukian doing exactly what Saryukian did. Like, good on him. I thought Dan Hooker would maybe be live in that fight if he was able to extend it. And in round 2, I was like, okay, this is where we decide whether or not we make a live bet. And he just got taken down and destroyed. The elbows. I mean, he looked like a caveman coming up after Arman Saryukin was done with him. His face was all swollen up. He looked like freaking Sloth from the Goonies. Like, Dan Hooker's going to take a while to heal from that one. The sub was crazy. Arman rolling out of the high elbow guillotine. I thought it was over, you guys. I really did. We've seen Arman in some deep chokes before, and the way Dan Hooker went to the high elbow guillotine instead of the regular guillotine, that is so tight. Like, that is so deadly. If you get that high elbow locked in, there's really almost no way out of it. So Arman rolling out the way he did, where he like gave up his back and like gator rolled to get through it, that was crazy, man. There's another sub, by the way. Back when I was doing my jiu-jitsu hardcore, my coach taught us a submission that basically you can do from that position. Like if Arman had gotten stuck with Dan Hooker on his back when he was like facing upwards, the way he rolled out of it, if Dan had transitioned the choke, there's like a really fucking dangerous choke where you can like snap somebody's neck from that position. My coach showed it to us and was like, this is not a choke we use in competition. This is like a street fight level, like you're fighting for your life type of submission. You don't ever do this. Go very slow with your training partners, please. It was that kind of a move. And Arman could have gotten caught in that shit if Dan Hooker had adjusted fast enough. So, props on him to pulling it off. Dangerous move, you guys. Dangerous move. Yeah, I did see the Hamzat and Ian Gary beef. That was crazy, man. So here's the thing. That's the kind of stuff that you've got to take into account, cultural differences, right? I don't actually think Ian Gary did anything wrong. Like, Ian Gary can be annoying, and I know he's a camera hog. He's looking for his spotlight moment, right? But I don't think he did anything wrong, and I don't think he did anything disrespectful. But Hamzat took it as wrong and disrespectful, and that's what led to the situation. I mean, I kind of thought what Hamzat did was a little bitch made, right? Like shoving the guy when you've got somebody standing between you, already making sure that like no fight can break out and shit. Like, I don't like Hamzat, you guys. He's another punk. I can't stand the guy. I'm sorry. He's fun to watch fight. He's another John Jones for me, right? He's fun to watch fight, but he's buddied up with like a fucking warlord, and he's kind of a dick. And I'm just not a fan of that. But I can understand being annoyed by Ian Gary, but he took Ian Gary's like pat on his back, and again, I'm looking through a camera, right? It looked like it was very innocent and friendly to me. And Ian said, "Don't worry, he's not going to fight me." I believe he was saying, like, because they were starting to like separate them, like it was going to get heated or something like that. And it was so nonchalant off the cuff that Ian just being like, "Don't worry, he's not going to fight me." It was like he really wasn't concerned with a fight breaking out. He was being very friendly and genuine in that moment. And then Hamzat went off the rails. It was like, the fuck are you doing, man? But again, that's why I'm not from the mountains of Chechnya. I'm not Russian. So like he took offense to something Ian did, and you just have to kind of be like, "Oh, yeah, my bad." When I was doing jujitsu, another story time for you guys, I moved schools because I got a job out of college. So I was training at my home jujitsu gym, TNT MMA, shout out coach. I moved for college. And when I was going to college, I had to switch schools. Now, the school that I went to had like a legitimate, like old school Brazilian coach. And this guy, I mean, we're talking about like he does the H's like Hobocop, like they talk like English was obviously his second language. Whereas my old school TNT, my coach, while he was given his black belt from the Machado brothers, he was American. So it was very easy to communicate things like that. So at this new school, this guy is Brazilian. And I've always been nothing but respectful. I'm a bit of a goofball on the mats. I like to laugh and I like to have fun, things like that. He was like a 155, 145, like tiny, skinny little dude. And on my first day of class, he wanted to roll with me. And he caught me in the same guillotine 7 times. So over the course of the roll, just again, new student, new coach, that kind of thing, him just kind of playing with me and testing me out. He decided I'm going to tap you with the exact same choke every single time. And for me, lifelong athlete, I was I hadn't gotten my blue belt yet at that point, but I was close. Like if I had stayed training at my old school, I would have gotten my blue belt very soon. So just had a little bit of a sense of pride, obviously, right? I was a white belt, so I knew I was on the bottom of the totem pole. It's not like I thought I was hot shit or anything, but it was demoralizing. It was real demoralizing having a guy just hit you from different angles, finding his way to the exact same submission every single time. And after like the seventh time that he tapped me, I just sat up and I was like, damn it. And I hit the floor with my fist. And I was kind of down on myself. You know what I mean? That it was like, even the one time I knew it was coming, there wasn't a fucking thing I could do to stop it. And it was an internal reflection thing for me. But he looked at me and he's like, why you mad? Why you mad? It's like, why you slap the floor? Why you say, damn it? You think you beat me? You think you can beat me? And I was like, whoa. Like he took it like I was frustrated that I wasn't straight up beating him. And I was like, no, coach, no, no, no. I was like, no, I was just getting frustrated a little bit. He's like, why are you frustrated? I'm black belt for 20 years. You think you can beat me? And I was like, the fuck? I was like, no. I was like, I just was tired of getting caught in guillotines, bro. Calm down. And I was blacklisted. I got like talked to multiple times. So like one time I tapped one of his blue belts, which by the way, so he refused after that point to give me a promotion. I was tapping his blue belts regularly. Again, I am not a badass. I only ever made it to blue belt before I quit, but he kept me at white belt and he refused to promote me, which I'm actually at this point grateful for because I got to go back to my home school and my coach Scott at TNT gave me my blue belt. It meant a whole lot more to me than if I had got it from this guy. But while I was there at the gym, it was like a personal insult because I was like, on a daily, I am beating the people that you have promoted. And because I upset him day one of training, he never let that go. So, like, there was this one guy who got promoted to blue belt, by the way, and was like on the competition team and stuff like that. And one day I whooped his ass. I mean, I wiped the floor with this guy. And he rolls over and he goes, damn it. And he like slaps the mat. The coach comes over to me and he's like, you don't say damn it in class. You don't say damn it in class. And I was like, coach, it wasn't me. It was your boy. It was him. And he was like, oh. And he walks away. I'm like, so there's like no scolding of the asshat who actually did the thing. Like, it's totally cool if he gets upset and says, damn it. But if I say it, I'm getting called out in front of like the entire class. Like, yeah, fucking bringing up some trauma here, you guys. I'm like newly out of high school, college level, full of piss and vinegar, pretty good at jujitsu. Still had a lot to learn, but like this guy tested everything I had. Like, cause I was like, I had the attitude of, I'm going to make him a believer. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to be so good that he won't be able to deny me. And that was the day that it became crystal clear that I'm like, I could beat his purple belts and he would never give me a blue belt. Like he had just already made up his mind that I was a disrespectful piece of shit. And he was never going to move off of that. I was furious. I was beyond mad. So I ended up quitting. And that's part of why I stopped training jiu-jitsu is because I didn't want to continue going to this asshat school. Right. So yeah. Anyway, long story short, that, it was tough sledding. It was tough sledding for a minute there. You guys, we're almost an hour in. And real quickly, I want to one more time shout out and say thank you to cloudbet.com for sponsoring the Die Hard MMA podcast. I'm going to end the show with a little unboxing because your boy got a care package from the sponsor. So we have some exciting new merch. Ooh, I had no idea what was in here. Now, the box is already sliced open, I will tell you, because they taped the hell out of it. Also, fuck tariffs because, okay, you guys know I don't do politics on this podcast. You know this. If you're one of the people who has been tricked into believing that other countries pay the tariffs, just like we're going to make them build the wall, it's not true. We paid the tariffs. I had to pay the fucking tariffs. Fucking expensive. Anyway, Oh, shit. I have some karate combat gloves. Let's get those up there. Look at that. Like branded and everything. Cloudbet karate combat gloves. Oh, dude, these are cool. I've had the UFC MMA gloves before. Wow, that was probably really loud in the microphone. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Oh, these are like legit, dude. These are like straight up the karate combat gloves. Look at this. They got the holes for the fingers and everything. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That is awesome. All right. No eye pokes problems there, right? No, actually, it's not going to. You can thumb somebody right in the face with that bad boy. Let's see. Got a shirt? I would assume. Anyway, the bag still shut, so not sure. Yeah, right? Top Cloudbet with the hookup, which is pretty awesome because frankly, I told them, I was like, hey, if we're going to do this, if you're going to sponsor the show, if we're hanging out, I'll wear the t-shirt, but you got to send me one. Bam. That is nice. I like the black. It's actually a really soft material too. If I don't know how and where you guys buy Cloudbet merch, I'll have to ask about that. But this is actually a nice quality shirt. And I am, by the way, I want to apologize because I am like a shirt snob. The people that supported me early, I love you guys. You're invaluable to me. I will never say a bad word for you. And I just have to apologize because when I did my first round of merch, like the Fireball and Popcorn shirt, those were the starchiest, heaviest, itchiest sons of bitches. Like those things are hard to wear sometimes. Okay. You need a comfortable, soft shirt. The newer shirts are much better quality. So I will always be straight with you guys. This is a nice, soft quality shirt. That's good stuff. Shout out Cloudbet for that one. Thank you. It looks like I have another shirt, so I'm not going to bother opening that one. Ooh, so I do have another shirt, but this one is got the Karate Combat on it as well. So that's fun. Is this just a bunch of shirts? Okay, got another one of those. So I got two of those. Ooh, is this a jersey? Oh, shit. I think this is a jersey. First sponsor I've ever been with that sent me like a full-on care package like this. This is pretty fucking cool. We need a Cloudbet Trust Your Balls shirt. Well, Dixon, we've already got the Trust Your Balls shirt. If you guys need a Trust Your Balls shirt, the link is in the description for the Die Hard merch. Oh, look at this. This is sick. I know I still say sick. I'm such a millennial. Look at that. Okay, you guys may not be able to tell the difference on this one, but it's like that breathable, like see-through. It's really soft, it's really light. I survive on this stuff here in Arizona because it's so fucking hot. But look at that. It's got the Cloudbet logo on the back of it. This is a nice shirt. This is not just a t-shirt. This is like a breathable exercise workout material shirt. And you know what? Maybe I might have to do like a giveaway with some of this stuff. I might have to do like a giveaway with some of this stuff. So they doubled up on a couple of these, probably to make sure I got like the right size, right? So they sent me like XLs and Ls to make sure I got the fit. So the stuff that I don't wear, maybe I'll share. Maybe we give the gloves away or something, right? Huh? Oh, that's awesome. And then of course, look at this. We got the postcard with the dice. It says thank you for being part of the Cloudbet team. That's what's up. Thank you, Cloudbet. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring and believing in the Die Hard MMA podcast. Hopefully, this is a relationship that we can build off of and keep going into the future because it's been freaking awesome. Thank you for the merch. Appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys have been fantastic. I always say this, and I always truly mean it. It is the Thanksgiving episode of the Die Hard MMA podcast, and the thing I'm most thankful for is you guys. Because, like I said, when I told the story of how the podcast started, it really was just therapy for me. Never expected anybody to listen to, a guy who whose claim to fame was the fact that I had maybe a blue belt at the time, and just kind of liked MMA and just kind of degened out on gambling. And I really never expected anybody to, support me or hang out with me and enjoy the show. And I have so many viewers and listeners now, you guys. It's crazy how many people download the show week in and week out. And it's how many of you show up and join the live streams every single week to hang out with me. We're talking, look at George Ray Pro at like 1 a.m. off a flight in the live chat, hanging out with me. Like, that's the kind of shit that you guys just mean so much to me. Through the ups and through the downs and stuff like that. Like, you guys are always here. So it's awesome. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. I'm grateful for you guys. Be good this week. Thanksgiving can be tough. I know some of you get to see family, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on the family that you're seeing. And I know some of you are probably missing family, whether it be for travel or, losing loved ones and things like that. So I know it can be a really great week for some people. It can also be a very difficult week for others. And I just want you guys to know that here, you're loved. Here, you got support. And you've always got people that care for you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for supporting me. I appreciate the hell out of it. 6 years. We've done this for 6 freaking years, and we're still going strong. And you guys are the reason that that's possible. So appreciate the hell out of you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Please travel safely while you're out there. Okay. And if you have a couple too many drinks, don't go talk to that uncle. You know the one I'm talking about, not him. Don't start shit with him when you've had a few too many drinks. All right. Stick to the stuffing. Go hug your mom instead. Oh my goodness. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon. All right. Because of course we are back next week for another big pay-per-view. We're going to end out the card, or we're going to end out the year with a couple of awesome fight cards, UFC 323, and then of course UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Cop. And we are going to finish the year strong. Love you guys. Let's roll.